Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's episode we are back with the Project Defender 110 and we are going to be ripping out the interior in the back to replace it with Exmorr Trim's premium carpet set. So we're going to start by taking the old carpet out of the 110. I've already made a little start on the sides here because that's nice and easy. Now they are taped in with some double-sided tape by the looks of things, which is well seen its days. I've got to remove the rear seatbelt fixings and they should be captive. Fingers crossed I'll be able to get them undone. Oh, look at that. Blow me down. They are coming undone a treat. Let's hope that's just not spinning. So we're doing a few things to the 110 as far as the interior goes. We've got two brand new seats from Exmoor Trim coming, the urban seats, and we've chosen to go for black vinyl but with a fluted design, so it's like got some ribs in it, and we can actually replicate that. They do some high back seats for our original three-piece second row seats in the same fluted design, so we're going to do that as well. But in the back here we're actually going to be fitting Dynamat before we fit the carpet set itself. So that's what I'm doing today, is just removing the old carpet, getting it cleaned out, and we'll get some Dynamat on there ready to fit the carpet. Now obviously on the sides here, as I mentioned before in a previous video, we are going to be leaving these mounts. Now they are designed to hold the seat belts and they go through the chassis, so you've got a really strong sort of retaining bar there that I want to keep because that is useful. We're not going to be fitting seats in the very back of the Defender. We're going to be using it as a utility space. So if we've got anything that we want to tie down, that is the perfect place to tie down onto. Right, now this mat should just come up quite easily. What I have noticed is there's a plate on the back here, and I would imagine that's because they've had to access the fuel pump in the rear here rather than drop the actual tank itself. They must have cut a hole in here and got access to the pump, replaced the pump and just covered it up. It's not the end of the world, but what I will probably have to do is put my Dynamat around that. You might not even have a threshold in your vehicle. It just might have come to you without one. And if you have got a threshold, there's a good chance it came without the rubber seal, which is this one here. And that does do a proper job of keeping moisture out of the back of the vehicle, because obviously all the moisture is going to run around the seal and into the bottom, and it will creep in, and certainly if you've got a carpet there, it will start to soak in from the back. So get yourself a fresh rubber seal. And as I said before, I had hoped we'd be able to use this again, but it's pretty shoddy, so I think I'm going to replace that with a stainless one. So I'm not going to be eating my dinner off this surface, but it's nice and clean. I've got most of the grit off, which is important. Now these bars have actually come up quite well, so what I'm going to do is just give them a little kiss with some Raptor spray. So obviously if you're going to do this yourselves, make sure you've got plenty of ventilation inside your cab, so get your doors open at the front. It doesn't matter about overspray, because obviously we're going to be putting a carpet set all over the inside of these wings, on the top of the sills and on the bottom here, so any overspray won't matter. And yeah, it will just clean them up nice and tidy. It's self-adhesive, it goes straight on. It's a really good sound deadening acoustic material, and it'll be perfect for us to lay our carpet on top of. But I'm just going to lay as many full squares as I can in the back, and then I'm going to trim around things like this. As you remember, I said this is raised up a little bit, which I don't want, so because this is higher as well, it should match quite nicely. So we'll get stuck in, get as much as that on as possible, and see what it looks like. So you saw how quick that was. The amazing thing is this squared tile system from Dynamat, it's just so easy to use. I mean, luckily these two panels here didn't take any trimming and I could just get them straight into the back, and it's just filled the back perfectly. But it's super easy to cut round objects because I laid it on top of here, just pressed down on the actual material itself. That gave me a shape, and I can cut it. I can use the lines on the tiles themselves to sort of make a straight cut. And you'll see on the sides as well, I haven't gone for full coverage, but I've used the offcuts I had left just to do the sides. It's just so much deeper, the resonance has gone, and yeah, it just smartens it up. Now that's going to be a fantastic surface as well for us to lay our carpet on. Well guys, do you get the feeling that your Land Rover doesn't like you, or it's just fighting you every bit of the way? Well, I do. So I've just done the last little bit of getting this ready for the new carpet, and that meant taking out our second row seats, which was easy enough. But also we've got this carpet trim that sits at the front here on the seat box, and it's been screwed in all along. I mean, sure, that's the way they do it out of the factory. It's been bonded on, and it was just a mission to get off. So in the end, I tried undoing some of the screws, but I couldn't. So I've just ground all the heads off in the end. But what it's also revealed is I've got a lot of corrosion here, obviously on the body mounts where it's hitting the aluminium. So I'm going to try and tidy up some of that because I don't want to be gluing something over the top. So I think it's unlikely that I'm going to do a super solid fix of the carpet on this area because I want to be able to get access to it again and treat it. But we'll get it cleaned up, and then I think we're nearly ready for the carpet. The quality of this is it's nearly better than the stuff I've got in my house, if I'm honest with you. So I don't know if I can show you how thick this is, but you can see there it's made up of two different densities, two different materials. So this top surface here is obviously the hard wearing part, and underneath you've got like what would be an underlay almost. But look how thick that is. It's a really nice, soft, durable feeling bit of kit. So I'm hoping it's going to go in nicely. It should really transform the interior and also the sound quality inside the vehicle. Bless them, the guys at Exmorr Trim have tried to make it super easy for you to fit this carpet set, and has actually given you a little map. So it's a bit like painting by numbers. I don't know if you can see that, hopefully. Yeah, there you go. So they've given you a layout and they've numbered all the panels, and that is the order in which they recommend you fit the carpet set. So we're going to follow that guide, I guess. Now, Exmorr Trim, actually, I mean, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Just a little bag there. But what's inside there is a load of double-sided tape. So they don't want you to use glue anymore, but I'm going to in certain areas. But we'll try and use this double-sided tape as much as possible because it's going to be a lot less permanent, and I think sometimes that is important. So we'll crack on using this double-sided tape. Hopefully that will do the job. If there's any sort of curves on small pieces, you do need to get it stuck down really well. But let's crack on and try and use some of this tape. That is a new thing for me. Right, the main problem we have obviously is we've got our brackets that are in the way, so we have to basically put some slots into the carpet to allow those to feed over. But what I want to try and do is get it in position first here, along here, so that it's fixed and in a good solid place, and that means that we can then start working on the front piece. It shouldn't lift that easily because we're going to have seats pressing down on it the whole time, so it doesn't have to be rock solid, although we will try and get it as solid as possible. So make sure you haven't got the carpet too far back. Don't let it ride up on these sort of sloped faces here. It needs to be right at the bottom, just in there, and nicely evened out. The easiest thing to do would be to cut it from the bottom rather than cut in the middle and try and push it over. I'm going to cut it all the way. Just a few pulls with the knife will do it, so don't do too many. Don't sort of push in too hard, because you don't want to go too high. We'll get our first one in there. Right, so then we got the second one is there. So I'm not trying to go through on the first pass, I'll go through on the second. There. Okay, it can probably go up a little tiny bit more. The trick here is to try and have this piece of carpet as far over as you can, and then you want to tuck the corner underneath so the grey underlay can't be seen. So we can push that underlay in a little bit, but we'll probably use some glue just to pucker that together. That looks like it's going to sit in there a treat. So again, really nice fit. Wow, look at that. That is tidy. So I'm going to cut from the middle down like that, because that's the bit that gets covered. So that should slot over these wires here. So what I've done is I've pushed my carpet in, tucked it into that corner, and then just cut where we've got a few things. So we've got here the bolts for the striker. So we've gone either side of those. We've gone these two fins, top and bottom, we've cut for those, and then we'll get it all pushed in as far as we can, and then once it's pushed in, we'll then get it trimmed on the outside edge here. We'll trim that outside edge and get it tucked in. Now this tape I've got is fabric tape. It's actually used for wrapping up wires with, but I'm going to use some of it just to tidy up some of these sections here. So it's really nice and sticky. So I'm just going to go along this edge. Like that. And then fold it over. The trick with this is light coats, and you have to let it go off. And it does go everywhere if you're not careful. Look, a bit of overspray there. So put a touch more glue on the inside there, so this should hold now. You can just see how much easier it is using the glue. This is a shame, look, can you see where we've got white on there? And that's just, you know, unavoidable. The only thing we can really do is paint it. So we might have to do that moving forwards, because that doesn't look great. What a shame. Tell you what, let's use our fabric tape there. So you can see what a nice job that does at the top of trimming. So we're now all black, but it just means you can trim up all your little bits of white or whatever colour you've got to make it blend in. This will not be too hard on yours. I don't even know if I can get it in now. There's not enough room and I've put too much glue on. Let's, we'll give it a go. It's going to take, oh bloody hell no. I probably shouldn't have put glue on it. That was a mistake. Tell you what we're going to do, we'll cut it in half. This is just because my bar is sitting right in the way. Tucking the top in there. Oh, that's worked well. Magic. Okay, pleased with that. There's a slight error on this map from Exmorr Trim, so forgive me if I've got it wrong, but looking at the front of the vehicle, let me just show you that. So if you look at this, it's telling me that this piece here goes on the door, but this piece here they've got orientated this way round to fit in this area here. Now I don't want carpet on the outside of the truck, so I'm pretty sure they've got that wrong. That one is for that side, this one is for this side, and it goes down here and sits. Luckily we can take our trim off because it's falling apart. Down the side, nicely tucks in, that's good. And then it actually tucks right underneath there. So it's a bit of a faff to get it in, but that's why you need your tool. Now, unfortunately, the tape isn't working very well. So I tried the tape on the front here, it's already coming away. I glued the other side of the wheel box. This one's taped. We'll see how it fares moving forwards, but I just think that glue is the way forward. Just cleaning that nozzle. So if you wanted to, you could drill through all these rivets on this step section, remove your seat belt, put holes in this, get it tucked in, put your carpet on there, and then put that on top. But really, you're only going to be covering, that means, this area here and this area here with carpet, because you're going to put this straight back on top. It's not worth doing, I don't think. So maybe you haven't got seats fitted, so that would work. It's your choice, but I'm not going to be fitting those bits. I'm only just thinking that I'm going to fit these bits, to be honest, because they're a bit awkward. But we've got them. Let's try. So definitely glue. You never get this to hold with that tape. That actually looks quite nice, and it's just tucked in. Now, the sad reality of doing a job like this is that once you've done it once, you'll have learnt so much that the second time you do it, you'll do such a better job, because there'll be little bits and pieces that you'll pick up along the way. Obviously, hopefully, I've given you some of those tricks and tips on this video, and that's why I think they're really important to watch videos like this, just to save you, the hassle of doing it wrong or not doing it as well as you could. But once you've done one, you'll be bang on to do another one perfectly. So my advice would be, do a friend's first. Go to their house, do theirs for them, with them, and be really helpful, and then learn all the little tricks while you're doing it on their vehicle, and then go and do your vehicle, and yours will look so much better. I know that sounds unfair, but obviously if you want to practice on something, you're going to make perfect. So we've got two more pieces to fit. First, we've got our mat that goes in the front, and this is a really nice trimmed piece. I've put it in so I've got the Exmorr Trim logos showing, because I want everyone to know what we fitted and how much effort it took to get it looking this good. But look at that fit. I mean, I really have to give Exmorr Trim their due. They've built it perfectly. I mean, it fits a treat. Obviously, we've got all sorts of stuff in here to make it not fit, but look at that. So for our rear mat, I am going to use some tape, because I don't want it to be permanently fixed. I want to be able to take it out if it gets absolutely filthy, but I do want it to stay in place. I've got it exactly where I want it on one side. So now I'm just going to run a long piece of tape on the other end, other side. So I've lined the mat up on this side. I've tucked it right in against there. I've got it so it's flush with my trim at the top. I get in and make sure that it stays flush at the top. There. Okay, then I'm going to stick it down. Now it is slightly oversized on this edge, but that's okay. I'm not going to push it too much. I don't want it to force it on this side. So now I've got that side done. We lift this side, and again, we run our racing stripes down there, and down there. Right, this should then sit exactly at the front and exactly along the edge. It does, yeah. It's fantastic. Oh, you could play a game of billiards on that. Now, because it's now stuck in place, I can get my tucking tool and just tuck that oversized edge over there in a little bit. That looks amazing. So the last little piece that we want to fit is our stainless rear threshold. I can't tell you how pleased I am how that's come out. The carpet set looks really good. The sound in the back has completely changed, and I don't know if that's partly the Dynamat or the carpet or just a combination of both, but it really has made a difference. And at the end of the day, if you're looking to sort of like, I don't know, try and refine your Defender just a little bit, and there's nothing to say that that's what you want to do. I mean, plenty of people are riding around in Defenders, and we use them every day for general maintenance and odd jobs and lugging stuff about. So I get the fact that this isn't for everybody, but this isn't necessarily the kind of thing that would suit everybody's Defender, because we all use them for loads of different things. But for us, you know, we really want to try and make this as refined as possible. You know, it's not something that we want to use to lug logs around and stuff like that, although Defenders are fantastic at doing that. The finish on the carpet set is really good as well, and the way it's gone in without really any adjustments other than what we had to do to fit it into our own vehicle with those bars in the back, it's just basically plug and play. The only thing I would say is that that tape that gets supplied with the kit is pretty useless. And one thing I forgot to mention is when you're fitting Dynamat, just make sure that you do wear gloves, because it will cut your hands to shreds, and I know because I've just paid the price. But, you know, I wouldn't take it back for the world, because it's just really made a difference in the back there. So, yeah, if you want to change the look of your Defender and you want to just basically bring it up to scratch and make it a little bit more refined, a bit more luxurious, and you're thinking of changing seats and the interior, which is something we are definitely going to be doing over the next few weeks, then that is a really great place to start. Now, we will be fitting the threshold in the next episode, so we'll be showing you how to fit that stainless threshold. I can't quite believe the price of it, because I had a look on LR Parts website and they do a whole kit which includes a rubber seal, a stainless steel threshold, a full set of stainless screws and a rear door weather seal for about 30 quid. So, you know, that is an absolute no-brainer. That should really finish off the trim. So I'm looking forward to fitting that, and that'll be in the next issue, which will come out on Tuesday. Now, sorry, we had a little blip again last week on some of the videos coming out on time. We had a lot going on, or I had a lot going on, and I couldn't quite squeeze them out, but hopefully we're back on schedule now. And so Tuesday's edition, as I said before, will be fitting that threshold. We've got some other interior trim components that I don't want to tell you about just yet, because it's a little bit of a new project, and that's going to be coming out in a week or so as well. So stay safe with the winter now upon us. I'll be doing a winter checklist again in the next few days, just to make sure you guys are all prepared for the cold weather. But thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you on the next one.